Hello, welcome back. Welcome to MattGoesRogue. I'm Matt. Welcome for those who are returning to the channel, and if you are new here, well, welcome as well. Welcome. Here at MattGoesRogue, we talk about storytelling in interactive entertainment, about video games and TTRPGs. And those kind of like weekly streams are covering a wide amount of topics that came to my attention that I thought would be interesting to discuss, to share with you, and to have a chat with you about. And as the stream goes for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, I will edit the streams into small sections and small topics so you can, access what you prefer or what you are the most interested in. Okay, well, so you should be able to see me on YouTube right now and on Twitch as well, on my different channels. You can use the chat if you have any question, if you want to contribute, or if you have, if you want to interact with me, you can do this too. And as you can hear, my accent, I'm French. I'm doing this stream in English because I'm living in the UK. If there is something that is not clear, let me know. I will do my best to articulate at my utmost, as well as to speak slowly, so you can understand every single words I am saying. Cool. All right, well, let's get started. We have quite an interesting program today. Or program I find interesting anyway. I hope you feel the same. All right, let's have a quick look. So today we are going to talk about Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, the multiplayer sport game from the wizarding land of Harry Potter, developed by Warner Brothers Entertainment and Keyport. So we have a look at this. I'm quite interested to hear about what you are thinking and what are your thoughts about this game and how it does balance with Hogwarts Legacy. In the second part of that particular stream, we're going to discuss Assassin's Creed Mirage on iPhone and iPad. Here we go. So Ubisoft branching out to mobile gaming with their key franchise, and is the game fit for mobile technology? Is it aligned with the expectation of the audience? What could be the challenges around the playability? This is what we're going to discuss and explore together. After that, we're going to look at Fable, the remake of the franchise Fable. The game had a new trailer, I think 10 days ago. I really enjoyed looking at it. I am really excited about the title and what they have to offer and the angle they are taking on that particular reboot. So yeah, that should be an interesting take on the franchise. Then we'll look at The Witcher and The Witcher 3 Redkit. So CD Projekt releasing the source files of The Witcher Wild Hunt, giving the opportunity to modders and players to play with custom mods and explore new storyline and kind of hone the world of The Witcher creatively. I found this initiative being quite interesting, very generous from the publisher, but also, it kind of carries a lot of educational value for those who want to join the industry and want to practice with the best possible title in terms of RPG to date. So yeah, we'll look at this and what are the benefits behind that initiative, and if you are a game developer or you are ambitioning to become one, how this particular access can give you all the tools you need to develop your CV maybe, or like progress with your career. And finally, we will talk about Arcane Season 2, the last season of Arcane, the second one as well. And we're going to have a look at the trailer together and see what the trailer tells us, what are the expectations we are supposed to have as audience members, and if there's anything foreshadowed in the trailer itself. As we go along, I've also prepped a little surprise for you. Halfway through the stream, we're going to look at the reveal of an iconic game character who's getting a revamp in a new title. An iconic treasure hunter, hint hint, and we will look at how this particular character will look in the new step or the new episode of the franchise she belongs in. Excellent stuff. All right, let's go. So let's get cracking. It's quite a bit of a schedule, so let's go. So okay, let's jump onto Harry Potter Quidditch Champions. Here we go. So here's the trailer for you. So I'm going to just comment on a little bit on this. You have something very simisk. Yeah, it makes me think about The Sims a little bit. I like that. I like the fact that kind of the render is quite, young and colorful, and seems to be really fun. I mean, definitely the focus is on fun and playability here. Now, you are giving the opportunity to join the championship of Quidditch, and that's something that hasn't been really played before, or not to that extent anyway. So Quidditch Champions will give you the opportunity to play in a multiplayer game environment, or also solo, as we will see in a minute. But you will be able to certainly play within the different locales of the world of Harry Potter and beyond. Obviously, it's not 100% based on the books. You have more than this, but also I believe into maybe seasonal championships and other kind of like specific event catered around that particular game. Now, there's a lot of crossover with Hogwarts Legacy, and we'll look at this in a minute. I'm just going to come back on a couple of specifics here, so we are addressing everything we can in that particular trailer. So, I'm just going to skip a couple of things. Here we go. So this is kind of you, right? In a way, you're not quite yet the cool kid. It makes you think about school a little bit. You're seeing all the other classes and the cool kids of the playground playing together, and you have Harry Potter, you have Hermione, you have the Weasleys, and they are all having a great time. And you are the kid by the tree just looking at them with a little bit envy, and you want to be part of this, basically. And this is what we identify as a player too. We want to be part of that great story, of that excitement of that game. So we're gonna join the Quidditch League, basically. All right, hello Harry. Here we go. So your favorite character are here, and you're quite determined now to be part of that team. Yeah, right, Gryffindor. And you're going to join your house, and you're gonna play obviously by house as per the world of Harry Potter, the films and the games. So you will be able to choose, what house you want to belong to. Obviously, you're going to have different skills and different abilities. It's not clear quite yet if it's going to be related to each house or to your specific character. But I believe maybe some Slytherin crew might be a little bit less by the book, when others might be more abiding by the rules of Quidditch. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. So you have the different arena. This is kind of the classic Hogwarts arena. This is the one we see in the first films. This is the one you will see in the game as well. Although in the game, you cannot play Quidditch yet. And we will maybe explore the reason why we can't play Quidditch quite yet in Hogwarts Legacy. The whole thing seems very fun. Here we go, another local in a kind of icy, snowy environment. So I believe you'll be able to maybe choose your map, or maybe based on the qualification or championship, you will be, moved, or you'll be moving from one part of the map to another, exploring the wider world of Harry Potter, which could be a really good thing to do, actually. It will bring a little bit of diversity of environment into the world. Here we go. So different climatics as well. You're going to be able to play by night, play under the rain, under the different kind of climates. It might get a little bit rough sometimes around the edges as well. You might have to fight your way around, the arena to get close to, that little golden... Oh, well, what's the word? I've seen the movies, I promise. I'm a little bit versed about Harry Potter. Oh my god. I have to double check. I'm not sure. I think it's not by S. I'll double check. Anyway, so you will be able to make your way around this, and if you have to bruise your other opponents or like the adversaries around the arena, you will be able to do that, apparently. I like this view. I think this kind of like above the kind of field view is quite good. It makes me think a little bit about football simulators, and maybe there will be a little bit of this in the game too. Those kind of sports camera angle and camera move, maybe even replays or slow-mo every time you are shooting into the hoops. It's a possibility. They are teasing the idea right now, so we will see as we go along if it's there as well. This one, I believe, belongs to another school of magic that is just about referred into the books as well. So, you know, I think it will complement and enrich the experience of Harry Potter and the world of Harry Potter by meeting the teams of the different aspects of the lore of that wider world. Here we go. And I believe like the big championship, the big final in this big stadium environment. So that could be really, really fun to play. I'm really looking forward to see how it's going to be working in practice, because obviously this is just a trailer. Those are cinematics, so it doesn't really translate yet how the playability will be, what will be the options, the different movements we can do. How dynamic is it going to be? How accessible is it going to be for young and less young players? We will see. My assumption right now is that the game is geared towards younger people or younger players, as well as fans of Harry Potter. I think there is a bit of an intersection with maybe the Sims community in terms of aesthetic. I think it could be quite appealing to those kind of players. And everybody who loves Harry Potter, and in my country, it's a pretty big thing. So here we go, Harry Potter and the Quidditch Champions. So this is what we can get from the trailer so far, but there are a couple of things to keep in mind. Okay, let's have a look. All right, well done. Cool. So in terms of release and console release, so the game will be available in, or is it September the 3rd? Yeah, this is it. So September the 3rd on PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, Steam, and Epic Games. So all around, all game consoles and PC basically. And it will be available on day one on PlayStation Plus. So here we go. So that's a pretty good deal. Now, okay, let's carry on. I got a few thoughts. Here we go. The bonus Legacy Pack in Harry Potter Quidditch Champions as an exclusive gift for Hogwarts Legacy player. The Moonstreamer broom skin and a variety of skins. Sebastian Sallow's wand, different magic emblems, and ancient magic celebration. I'm not sure what it is. We'll figure it out. And you need to have the Hogwarts Legacy game to be able to play it. Okay, so this is a bit of a nod to the people who actually bought the kind of open world game of Harry Potter. Now, my question for you. Here's my question. It's coming up. Why has Hogwarts Legacy not been gifted a Quidditch gameplay in the first instance? So you will know, if you played Hogwarts Legacy, that the game, in the first few hours of the game, the headmaster of Hogwarts will come and see you, or you will attend a kind of like reunion, and that particular character would tell you that unfortunately for this year, or until further notice, there will be no Quidditch game in Hogwarts. And that is, I think that was a big blow for a lot of players who were looking to actually play Quidditch in that game. And it's a little bit like, playing an Indiana Jones game and telling you there is no treasure to hunt. It's a really big part of the lore and the appeal of the franchise. And I remember a lot of people and players were quite puzzled by this kind of lack of options and ability to play the game. Now, so I've done a little bit of digging around this. I've tried to investigate a little bit the topic, and I figure out you have a very little information about Quidditch Champions online. The website of Warner Brothers is basically a landing page with the trailer I just shared with you, and nothing much, right? There is not a lot of resources out there. However, some of the following websites will give you a bit more information about the game itself. So you'll find the most information on Epic Games. Quidditch Champions is the kind of standard website, nothing much there. Portkey Games at this point in time doesn't even advertise Harry Potter Quidditch Champions. It's not even part of their marketing strategy at the moment. And you will find a couple of more information on the website of Unbroken Studios, which is the developer working in collaboration with Warner Brothers Entertainment for the development of that particular game. Right, so I've been looking into that, and I found that when Unbroken Studios is mentioning the collaboration, on Quidditch Champions, they refer to that project from many years ago. It's been a long time in process, and the game is going to be ready in September. And when I'm reading this, I'm a little bit surprised and curious moreover, because if it was a couple of years in the past, it means that by the time Hogwarts Legacy was developed, I have the feeling Portkey might have decided to split on one side the RPG game or the open world game of Harry Potter, and to section off the Quidditch experience from it at first. And I think there might be an ambition beyond this to look at Quidditch Championship a little bit as a new form of esports. It definitely has this potential. It definitely has this appeal for multiplayers, and ultimately, the technology might have been a little bit difficult to combine. There's a lot of things to obviously factor into a kind of sports environment, interactive sport environment in gameplay. Maybe it was a little bit too ambitious to deliver the open world plus an entire sport gameplay within Hogwarts Legacy. But I had the feeling, maybe I'm wrong, I mean, fair enough, but I have the feeling that the studios find an opportunity to actually focus on the open world on one side and focus on the game sport on the other one, because they are an intersectionality of audience that can be a little bit different. And I think Quidditch Champions has, again, the possibility to grow beyond the reach of Hogwarts Legacy as a game. Now, I wish and I hope there will be in the future in Hogwarts Legacy a mode when you can access the Quidditch area and you can fall into the multiplayer of Quidditch Champions. So those two elements and those two games can actually work together and being combined together for a seamless game experience, enjoyment from your players and the players. But I do have this sentiment, and maybe that's just an intuition, but I think in terms of profit strategy, in terms of marketing strategy, it does make a lot of sense to separate those two elements together and to kind of hint even in-game that the Quidditch will not be available right now, meaning that they need to develop it aside, maybe to bring it in the original game first or after, but it feels to me that maybe Harry Potter Quidditch Champions is the game we didn't have the chance to experience and enjoy in Hogwarts Legacy, and then we're gonna have to pay ultimately to actually enjoy and benefit from a perspective of a player. Again, that's just my opinion. This is my assumption. I can be wrong, obviously, and I'll be happy to come back to it later. But I think it feels a little bit like this. Now, so technically speaking, what are we looking at when we talk about Harry Potter Quidditch Champions? Well, we talk about a multiplayer game. So you're going to have different modes into that particular game that will give you access to different options. You'll be able to grow your skills and play in different ways with your friend. So the first will be the career mode. So from backward battles in the Weasley boroughs up to high-stakes showdown in the Quidditch World Cup. So you will grow as a champion, and you can work your way solo against the AI, basically, or with a team up to 3 friends. Then you're gonna have exhibition matches, so you can be with teams, and you're gonna be able to adjust the difficulty of gameplay, and there again, you can work and play with 3 other people. And then you have the PvP, the player versus player, which will be one team against another, certainly with a friend or against the AI. you will be able to take different positions into the team as the chaser, the seeker, the keeper, the beater. So for those who are really versed about Quidditch, that should make a lot of sense. So either defense or attack, or, you know, looking after like the different part of the games and working strategically to stop the other one from progressing towards your area of the stadium or the pitch. And yeah, you'll be able to obviously change the skins of your character. You'll be able to develop specific abilities. You have different cosmetics, etc., etc. So it will give you a really big and large game experience. It doesn't seem to be incredibly complex. I think they focus on accessibility and playability. Again, that has to maybe with the target demographic they're trying to reach there. But it sounds really fun. I think it sounds really, really interesting. I'll be definitely, curious to try out and see what, the game is and how it plays. Now, when I look at the Q&A, the most asked questions of the I think it's the Unbroken Studios. No, it shouldn't be. No, that should be the quidditchchampions.com website. A couple of questions that I found relevant, right? That could give us a little bit more hints about the game itself. So here we go. So question, who is developing Harry Potter Quidditch Champions? So Harry Potter Quidditch Champions has been in development for several years by Unbroken Studios, what I was mentioning before with regard to Hogwarts Legacy. So is Harry Potter Quidditch Champions a standalone experience? Yes, it is a complete standalone Quidditch experience developed by Unbroken Studios. It engages players in the sport of Quidditch and other broomstick adventures alongside friends in a competitive multiplayer setting. Question: are there microtransaction in Harry Potter Quidditch Champions? There are no plans to include microtransaction in the game at this time. Okay, there's a provision here at this time. Not when it starts, not when you're gonna buy the game, not when you're gonna start playing the game, but maybe in the future there will be. Maybe you'll be able to buy a better broomstick. Maybe you'll be able to buy better accessories, or maybe enchanted amulets that give you special abilities or enhance certain skills. It's a possibility, but not at this time, not at the moment of purchase or in the immediate future. I'll be surprised if this stays like this. I would love to, but well, I'll be surprised if there is no further opportunity to, create profit around that. Question: where can I learn more about Harry Potter and Quidditch Champions? Well, you can visit the website. The official website is www.quidditchchampions.com. There you go, so now you know. How much is the standard edition of Harry Potter Quidditch Champion? So the standard edition of Harry Potter Quidditch Champions will be priced at $29.99. Okay, so what do we get here? So we know there is a standard edition, which means that there will be deluxe edition or maybe premium editions coming up. Okay, and the standard price is $29.99. Now that's not it's a little bit of money, but it's not necessarily up to the price of a AAA game at the moment. I think it's based on the promise of the trailer and what you could be able to do and the experience they promise. It seems to be a decent price. It doesn't seem to be above market. It doesn't seem to be taking advantage of players, so to speak, and that should factor probably around the same price in the UK by time of release, maybe £28, which is actually not that bad for a Harry Potter game, I guess. All right, so question: does Harry Potter Quidditch Champions fit into the Wizarding world? So, while Projekt games are not direct adaptation of the books and films, the games are firmly rooted into the magical universe of the Wizarding world. Whilst remaining true to J.K. Rowling's original vision, Projekt game developer chart new territory by crafting fresh way for fans to immerse themselves into the Wizarding world. That is my English pronunciation test here. So here we go. And what is Projekt Games? So this is what we mentioned before. So Projekt Games is from Warner Brother Games. It's a label dedicated to creating new Wizardly World mobile and video games experience that take the player at the center of their own adventure, inspired by J.K. Rowling's original stories. Projekt Games offer players the opportunity to make their own narrative choices and engage with the wizarding world setting to discover new and unique experiences. The label was created to bring gamers and new fun gaming experience that allow them to delve into the wizarding world by immersing ways where they can create their own magical stories. That's a nice pitch. It's not very specific, but it's a nice pitch. Sure. So, that's what the Q&A will give us. So, what do we know? Multiplayer game, September 3rd. There will be a premium edition. There will be a standard edition. There will be other editions of that game. No microtransaction at first, at this point in time, maybe in the future. And retail price will be $29.99, about £30 when it's going to be released here in the UK. And there's an incentive for Hogwarts Legacy players to benefit from a bonus broom and a couple of skins if they wish to claim it. Here we go. And that is obviously like the, head title of Projekt. Although they're doing a lot of games, I was really surprised to see that there are 4 different Harry Potter games right now, and they are not really advertised. I've never heard about them. Maybe I'm not the audience, but they have puzzle games. They have story games as well. They have a lot of different type of genre and aesthetics around this. Some of them can be really manga. Some of them can be really more classic cartoon and classic, comic style. And obviously then you have the big open world RPG that is Hogwarts Legacy. That's kind of what, the promise of Harry Potter Quidditch Champion has to offer at this point in time. So I'm looking forward to actually try the game and come back to you about this and see, how it fits with your experience of Hogwarts Legacy. And if there's a way, maybe in the future, those two can merge. So we are really connected in one immersive experience rather than have different titles for different specific Harry Potter game experiences. All right. So let's move forward now with Assassin's Creed Mirage for iPhone and iPad. So Ubisoft is releasing very soon. Actually, it has released. It's done now. The game on mobile devices. So how does your experience of Assassin's Creed Mirage can be on those iPhone and iPad devices? So I'm first of all, I'm quite keen of the promise. I think it's really cool to conceive, Assassin's Creed on the mobile device. And I think Ubisoft is, exploring that possibility very well. I think it's a big promise to bring this quality of gaming experience, graphic design, and render as a game to a mobile console or mobile device. Now, I think there is a lot of things that can be explored here. First of all, I wonder a little bit what can be the angle, because Assassin's Creed Mirage is a very large open world. You see, if you come back to the channel, you will see I've been streaming the game from the beginning to the end, and it's a game that is incredibly visual, incredibly immersive. And if it's a one-to-one adaptation, I believe there might be a few challenges to enjoy the scope of what this game has to offer. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing or it's a bad translation of device and playability, but you will find that there are so much details in this game that might be lost a little bit in the portability of what this title has to offer on OS devices. So we will see. Now, obviously, in terms of playability, they have to adjust the gameplay or the functions here. Assassin's Creed Mirage is a very, I'm gonna say, complex game to navigate. Sometimes you have a lot of items, you have a lot of maps, you have a lot of combos, you have a lot of skills you can develop. You have an entire skill tree to explore and to build. You have multiple weapons, you have multiple moves and strategies you can adopt to your gameplay and the mission. And having all of this in your hands in one go will require, and you know, maybe they did, in which case great, because that could be a challenge. It could be a little bit challenging, or would be challenging anyway, to maybe translate all those options in one kind of, how big is that? Like, how big is a phone? I mean, it's, I don't know, is it 8 inches, maybe 8-inch wide? I don't know, I'm not good with my metric system here, but about 20 centimeters on what, maybe 7 or 8 centimeters? It's a lot in one go, and maybe it's very intuitive, and in which case, great, I'm in, and I would love to try it. But I feel there is definitely an adaptation, or maybe there might be some. What I mean is this, okay? Or is it suitable to have a one-to-one adaptation from a console game to a mobile game? Is it working? Is it transferable? What are the compromises you need to make this happen? Is it going to be on the graphics? Here it looks fine, but you know, like a lot of demos, those could be like 4K videos laid out for the promo. Okay, and I think it is. But you know, practically speaking, is it working out? Is it really catching up on the graphics and the quality of the render? And the iPhone and iPad might have sufficient CPU and you know, graphic card responses to build this, or to be reactive. That's another thing as well. Or do you need to adjust the gameplay a little bit to make it a little bit more smooth for the player? You know, do you narrow down maybe some of the options you can use to make it a little bit more fluid and accessible and practical to play? Because here on the UI, I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 point of probably action buttons and what is going on behind, you know, on the screen itself. So let's see. I think there are easier ways to do that. I think there are easier titles to use as well for this. I'm thinking about Prince of Persia and The Lost Crown. That could have been the perfect game for iPhone and iPad. Honestly, it's easy to manipulate. You have some good combo, but no many keystrokes. The graphic generation can be easily handled by your mobile device as well. Not saying that it's not a success or it's not working, obviously not, but I would say this is where I'm can be just a tad skeptical or curious. It's to see how that works out, because the promise of the game already in PS4 was quite big. I felt that, you know, I almost needed to upgrade my console to play it properly. So now having this in your pocket that would be fantastic. But I'm excited to hear more about it. Cool. So let's have a look at the feedback on the Apple Store now. Let me see. Let me engage with this. Here we go. So we are on the Apple Store here, and it's been pretty well received. Out of 5, okay, 3.7 at this time. Okay, so let's have a look. So we do have the page, we have the vision of the game on, okay, some kind of like promotional visuals, some kind of like updates already. So it's been like released really recently. This is kind of last week. Stability optimization, bug fixes, improving the game performance, high graphic presets in progress. Okay. Playing the game on low or medium graphic presets is recommended. So this is kind of what I was mentioning, right? You need to have the firepower to generate that open world and everything it has to offer. So it might not be to the upscale performance of a PS4, PS5 quite yet, but maybe it will, and maybe the mobile version is really good for what it is and has to offer on a smaller screen. You don't need to go necessarily like 4K, So what's new? So let's have a quick look here. This is kind of the pitch of the game itself. Parkour, okay stuff. Dense and vibrant city. Yeah, this is true. And that's such a great game, and I really enjoyed it. So let's have a look at the reviews, right? So mostly positive. Okay, let's have a look. So game runs very phenomenally for a first-time mobile game from Ubisoft. Applauds to you guys, but the game is very functional. It has bugs here and there, but that's bound to happen regardless. But all in all, the game is great. Nothing too iffy into the game besides it crashes every so often. And it's a bit tedious and it takes a lot of battery. That's something I've read as well. It can be a little bit high consuming on your battery because of all the, the graphics it has to generate. But that's, this is kind of what you would expect. Okay, sure. Wow. Okay, so you played about 30 minutes. Okay, so basically you have about an hour of gameplay, probably at the higher level of graphic definition before you run out of battery. So you're gonna have to plug your phone to play it if you want an extended length of gameplay. But okay, sure. I mean, it's to expect. I mean, it's yeah. Okay, great, could use an update. Not sure if anybody else has run into this problem, but using a PS4 controller and my triggers are not doing anything, so a bit of issues of connectability. The vibe is great, parkour needs work, and we'll see kill combo bike, okay. I like the glass cannon idea, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is a little bit more specific. Great game overall, but yeah, a couple of things, so okay. So look, I wish they had implemented more in this game, and same go for the console. Okay, so that person still play both versions. They need to add some extension in this game before building it, because isn't too much to do after being okay. I do agree with this. New Game Plus was a good idea for replayability, and obviously, by the time people finish the game, you need to incentivize your players to keep playing. And I think the New Game Plus has maybe missed to create that. You had the opportunity to carry the game with your skills and your abilities and your items and start the game again with all what you have accrued in your first session. Great, that is good. I don't think there's been a DLC for Mirage quite yet. I don't think there was a lot of development schedule to extend the game experience of Assassin's Creed Mirage. Now, why is that? Maybe because it's a little bit rooted in character development. So the character you play is very core to the Assassin's Creed franchise, and once you finish the character arc, maybe you finish the purpose of what this game has to offer. But I'd like to see more. I absolutely loved it, and I would recommend it to anybody who has a PS4. You have to trust the narrative, and you will be rewarded in a way that is really unexpected. It's true. So globally, I mean, people are quite happy. There's somebody who doesn't seem to be very happy here. I'm gonna just give it the time of day. Still with price points mostly, it seems. Okay, some kind of functionality here as well, performance based. Okay, so that is the review. So mostly positive. Just be a little bit patient, I would say. If you want to play it on your iPhone or your iPad, if you're going on holiday, for example, you have a long commute and you want to play it for yourself, or maybe your children wants to play it, or your teens want to play it, I think it's a really great game to play. And having it on an iPad or mobile can be really convenient. Absolutely. And if the device can put it, great. Absolutely. And have a great time with it. The one little, what I would say, bemol, the kind of like slight consideration is for what is coming next. And this is where I think there is a need for readjustment. Okay. So you will be able to play the game for free at first. Then I believe you will have to obviously pay for the game itself, but you can try and see if it works for you. So it gives you a sense of what the story is about, what the promise of Creed Mirage is about, and you know, if your device managed the load and can give you a good experience. Now, when it comes to price point, okay, right now the full game upgrade is sold for $49.99. $49.99. At the current time, the full game on PS5 is, I believe, £10 cheaper, and the PS4 version is about 15 pounds cheaper. So I think it makes Assassin's Creed Mirage the most expensive mobile game to date. I love the idea, but I'm not sold on the price point at all. I think it's a great game, and if it can deliver one-to-one experience on a mobile device, fantastic. There is restriction to it with regard to the immersive nature of the game on a smaller screen. I don't know how the audio will translate necessarily on mobile as well, but I would say $50 is, or $49.99. I think it might be a big ask at first. I think there is room for it to be readjusted, because that might be the biggest deterrent of that game at this point. If the game was around, let's say, $25, I think they will do well. They will do really well with that offer. $49.99, I think it's a little bit above market, and I think they might have to reconsider or do some kind of offers to push it. I won't spend £50 or $49.99 on a mobile game. I just can't compute that. And maybe you do, in which case, great. Again, have a great time with it. Would you be ready to spend $50 on a mobile game? Yes or no? Let me know. I'll be really interested to know. But I know, as from my end, I'd rather play the same game on the large TV with a good sound system and having the full experience. But again, it's two different type of gameplays, two different terms maybe of player demographics. So I don't want to kind of be critical about this. I just find that the ambition behind it is amazing, and I'm so excited with the idea of having Ubisoft games in my pocket. Absolutely, great stuff. Now, when it comes to price point, I think they need to adapt to the mobile market a little bit better to make sure the product doesn't put people off, because it's a great game again, but also fits some of the economics of mobile gamers who might not be able to purchase a console game or a PC game. So yeah, that's my take on Assassin's Creed Mirage Mobile. Again, I'm really excited about the prospect of that project. I think there is a way to maybe sometimes simplify a little bit the gameplay for the purpose of adapting from one device to another and make sure it's a seamless experience regardless of what device you're using. There's probably no need to have all the functionality you have in the basic in the console game into mobile. I think it should be a little bit streamlined, a little bit more easy to play, a little bit more, more fluid to play, maybe due to the limitation of screen surfaces and maybe like spaces to put your fingers on it. But you can, obviously clamp your phone to a kind of device handle that can mimic a PS4 or PS5 handle, so I guess you can work around it. But overall, I will go for something a little bit simpler, a little bit more streamlined, and look at the best possible adaptation as well. You know, you have you have Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown that is screaming for this. I think that will be definitely one of the best options and one of the best games to adapt into mobile version if there is any further development and ambition from Ubisoft to do so. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown will be a really good option. Here we go. All right, so now we're going to move to Fable. So Fable is the reboot. This one, the 2025 Fable game, is the reboot of the franchise. So I didn't know much about Fable until recently, and I saw a couple of trailers, one from 2024 with Richard Owadi that I really enjoyed, and this one a couple of days ago. And I absolutely love the humor, the storytelling behind that trailer, and the characters that are involved into that story. There's a lot of cynicism, a lot of self-deprecation. There's a lot of British humor in it, and almost like a office style of narrative in the concept, in the voice. You know, you feel like there's a bit of a merchant / Gervais feel to the way the game is meant to be felt. So you're going to play that particular character in a kind of, I believe, 1916 or 1600 or 1700 Central Europe medieval environment. It's very Ansel and Gretel. It can be very Grimm Brothers in the spirit, but not to the extent maybe of The Witcher. There's a higher, I would say, a more colorful fantasy element to it in comparison to The Witcher, which can be a little bit more grim or realistic in its essence, dark in its essence. That is the the flip of that coin. We're a little bit more in the light of fantasy with that game, it feels. Now, we don't know much about it. You know, we know we're gonna have an heroine. She will be our main character, that she might be beloved by the people around her or jealous by the people around her, that she's gonna go on epic quest fighting monsters. She can use a bow, she can use a sword, she slingshots, she has a lot of different abilities to develop. She's fierce, she's brave, she feels a little bit out of her comfort zone as well. It feels like she has this kind of almost kind of orphan quality that is taking under the wing of that pseudo-heroic character who doesn't seem to be actually more than this, is our unreliable narrator, which makes everything a lot more interesting and curious and weird. So yeah, this is what Fables has to offer for now, and I'm really curious to see how it's going to develop and what the gameplay is going to look like. So 2025, that's pretty much all we know so far. Okay, Game Pass on Xbox. Now, I went to the Xbox website to have a look at it and see what they were promoting, and there's nothing there. There's just a basic page with a beautiful landscape. There's the title of the game, and that's it. So I went to do a little bit more research, and I went into Wikipedia, because this is what you do when you need to know a little bit more about stuff that you don't know about. Here we go. So because I'm not familiar with the franchise as well, I needed to get a bit more versed with the timeline of development and the story behind it in a way. So I like this little graph here because it really takes us back to 2004 when the first Fable was released, right? Then you have the Lost Chapter, Fable 2, the pub game, then you have Fable 3, Fable Coin Golf, Fable Heroes, Fable The Journey, Fable Anniversary, Fable Fortune, and then you have the reboot here. Now, I've never played the game before, so I have no idea about how good they are. They seem to be quite popular. They seem to have quite a good fellowship and audience and players behind them, and I'm sure people will be excited about the new release. Now, what makes this new Fable game a little bit more special is the context of creation as well. So Playground Game is, the studio behind it, and they've been working with, Xbox since 2018, right? And with Xbox since 2020 to release the new game title. Now, we are right into the COVID pandemic right there, okay? This is what is happening. So we are in lockdown situation, and it took them this amount of time, 4 years on top of this, to be making that particular announcement. So the game has been started to be penciled since 2018. So that's 6 years of back and forth to be able to show a little bit of the trailer. I think there's a couple of like in-game shots in that when she's fighting or like but yeah, we will see. For now, it's too early to tell. But if the game keeps its promise in terms of tone and storytelling, I think we're up to something interesting. Yes, some of the screenshots you can see from the trailer. Richard Owade was in the first one. Pretty cool character, really good actor, and I think he gave the trailer a really nice touch actually. This is more of a gameplay situation. Maybe spells are used here to create this kind of fireball between those two characters. The environments look really good. It's most probably Unreal Engine. Yeah, that looks good. You're gonna fight obviously foes, and there will be some kind of monsters or kind of like mythological monster to the Europe medieval era. There's a bit of a feel of The Witcher, obviously, but I think they take it again on a higher fantasy, more like the fantasy of books you would have at the time. Yeah, like a little bit of Hansel and Gretel, Grimm Brothers, Perrault for the French audience joining the stream. I think this is a little bit more where we are. And then, yes, obviously you have dexterity in place, so you can have bows and arrows, you can have swords, you will have a variety of options to fight, with and to defend yourself when needed. If the game keeps this kind of aesthetic and quality, I think that can be really good. I think that can be really a really beautiful game and world to explore. Again, I'm really excited about the storytelling behind it because it's a fairy tale world. Fairy tale are at the roots of every kind of archetypal modern tales. This is where we have rooted archetypes and threats and foreshadowing and all those kind of also some kind of aspiration in terms of how do you hold on a minute. Here we go. So the morality of your stories, and if the game follows an arc in which the character can find a sense of morality by the end of it, will be completely applicable to both the genre and the literature of that particular time. Great, so that was Fable. We'll see how it goes. 2025 Xbox and possibly other support, probably PC a little bit later, but yeah, let's see. So now, as promised, a little bit of a surprise as we discussed it earlier. We do have a reveal of an iconic character to share with you today. This comes from IGN. Tomb Raider developers reveal Lara Croft official redesign, and the subtitle is "Don't Call It a Comeback." Okay, so Crystal Dynamics has revealed a first official look at the Lara Croft redesign, presumably debuting proper in Tomb Raider Next, the new title. As reported by Polygon, a Tomb Raider website was launched February 14, which is Lara's birthday, to celebrate the franchise. Whilst a remastered collection of the first 3 games launched in February 13, that we saw, the website also gives fans a quick look at the heroine's future appearance. The image below shows Kara in a classic pale blue tank top and brown shorts, equipped with 2 handguns and some other survival tools. So, now, I want you to think about Lara Croft and everything you will hope Lara Croft to be or to become, right? If you have the opportunity to launch a game called Tomb Raider Next, it's definitely a sense of upgrade. It's a progression, a promise on what could happen, on how the character could grow, right? Now take that image in your mind. Think about Lara, how she would look like, what kind of emotions or sentiment she could, exude, and take that, keep it in your mind, and let me know if it looks like this. So this is the new Lara Croft. Now, I don't know if you played the one before. If you're like me, you are turned, you've turned 40 or you passed 40, but this is really not a new look at all. It's the classic Lara Croft look. This is the look we had in the first 3 or more episodes. And I do understand that ultimately it's about the progression of the character since Tomb Raider has been rebooted. And maybe that's the angle here. Maybe it's about paving the way towards that iconic look, that iconic figure that is Lara, right there with the blue top and the brown shorts and the 2 guns. And great. I don't think it's necessarily a very exciting announcement. It's, if anything, we come back to what we know. And I'm surprised. Not that I had any expectations about Tomb Raider or Lara Croft, but it feels like there is an opportunity to take tools to grow the franchise, maybe to develop the character in a different way, or even bring other characters. If you're gonna call, Tomb Raider next, maybe it's no longer about Lara Croft anymore. The franchise is not married. The name of the character is not in the franchise title. We're not necessarily married to Lara Croft. There can be other Tomb Raiders. There can be a new generation of Tomb Raiders, maybe adventurers looking for Lara. Maybe she disappeared. Maybe there is a new way to bring a bit of freshness and a bit of fresh air into the franchise. Now, if you want to do that, however, there is an option here. There is a TTRPG Tomb Raider about to be released by Evil Hat later this year, and it looks really promising. So if you are into TTRPG and board games, I think you will have the opportunity to do just that and to explore the world of Tomb Raider in the way that can be a little bit different, a little bit more personable, and maybe away from certain archetypes. You can play Lara as well if you want, I believe. But here, I'm again, it's a little bit. I'm not going to sound overwhelming, but it's a little bit anticlimactic in this kind of announcement. You're expecting a look that will transcend the archetype that you know as part of your new title, of a new exciting title as well. And it feels like we are, at this point, giving back what we already been playing with for 15 years or more. So we'll see, maybe that's just a starting point. Maybe Lara will change a little bit more throughout the game. Maybe there's another project behind it to maybe extend the franchise in different ways. I really hope they do. I really hope they would start taking a bit more risks in terms of storytelling around Lara Croft as well and the world of Tomb Raiders. It doesn't have to be mono archetype. It doesn't have to be mono heroine. It doesn't have to be just about Lara. There's a lot of things to explore in that world and the exotism and the adventure that Tomb Raider offers to players. So let's see. So the design looks like a lot like the Lara Croft model released in Call of Duty 2023, essentially confirming fan suspicion. This was the new unified version of Tomb Raider. The next mainline game in the franchise is currently being developed in Unreal Engine, so we're gonna have something extremely realistic, which is exciting, and it's known as Tomb Raider Next. Amazon Games is supporting development, though the title has been said about, although little has been said about the title ever since the announcement in April 2022, so 2 years. It will be the first entirely entry since 2018's Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which wrapped up a trilogy of games during the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One generation. This series reset Lara Croft's origin in a greater setting, but it's unclear how Tomb Raider Next will fit into the equation. So is it going to close what we already know? Is it expanding? Are we starting somewhere new? We don't know. The one thing we seem to know and we can rely on is that Lara will just look the same. And maybe, you know what, maybe that's comforting. Maybe maybe everything changes in the world and in life, but Lara Croft stays the same, and we can rely on this. Maybe that's the lesson. Maybe that's the lesson. All right, so that was Tombraider, the first look at Lara Croft. Cool, moving on with The Witcher. So Witcher Redkit. So the team of CD Projekt have recently released The Witcher Wild Hunt Redkit. So what is it? So basically it will give developers and programmers the ability to put their hands on all the assets of the game and create their own DLC quests, stories, characters, world and environment. They will be able to play and use all the assets designed by the development team of CD Projekt and create their own extension of the Witcher. Now, why is this exciting? Well, first of all, because there's a huge community behind it, which are really passionate about the franchise, really want to explore new worlds and new characters and stories as part of The Witcher. It's also really exciting for people joining the industry who wants to develop their skills with tools that are used on a AAA games and on a AAA game. And that is really, really rare. And I found the whole ambition really, really generous and exciting for newcomers. So for example, here we're gonna have a bit of a simulation. So don't get me wrong, I mean, the accessibility is really great. It doesn't mean it's easy to do. Okay, there is a learning skills, there is a learning skill to adopt, there are tools to learn. It's not gonna be a sandbox, it's not gonna be The Sims. It's gonna be a little bit more technical, a little bit more involved. But you know, if you want to learn, you want to be part of that industry, this is your shot, and you can even demonstrate your abilities. So let's say, for example, you want to work into environmental design, or you want to work into character design, or you want to be a cinematic director. But then you can put your hands in that and really build a portfolio using those assets and this environment, and even showcase some of your game design, you know, when prospecting for work, for example. So I found this really, really great, and kudos to CD Projekt for giving the public the opportunity to enjoy all this for free as well. So I just find this great. It's like giving you the key of a blockbuster production and say, hey, go ahead, have fun, and do some great work. So very, really good. This is like a little bit of a layout, I believe, for lighting around Siri here and everything that is happening in the background as well. It looks really complex, but maybe that speaks to you. Maybe that's not daunting at all for you. I wouldn't know where to start, but I think the approach of CD Projekt beyond that is great. It's great, and I really celebrate that ambition. That is really, really good. Cool. So that was The Witcher Redkit. It's available for free on their website. I will put all the links in the description of the stream, obviously. And yeah, you can already build your own, Witcher alternative universe today, and yeah, explore the world of The Witcher creatively, but also understand how it was done, and all the incredible amount of work and talent that was initially invested into the title. Great, moving on. Next up, Arcane Season 2. So Netflix is about to release the second and sadly the last season of Arcane, which is inspired by League of Legends, the game. Now, what to expect? Well, we're gonna have, I think we're gonna have a hard time between V and Jinx. We're gonna have a lot of confrontation, drama, and duality, both opposing forces of righteousness and morality involved into the concluding segment of Arcane. Absolutely beautiful first series. I'm really excited about the second one too. Well done to Fortiche, the French studio, for bringing this amazing world to life with such a class, with such a beautiful artistry and sense of character design as well. The script of the first one was really, really good as well. I really enjoyed the duality of the character, and this is continuing in that new series, in that new season. You do have those three key characters, we're going to explore that in a second, which are representing different tension and different pool. So I'm I'm going to explain that in a moment. But it's a very female-focused series, first of all, a very action-focused series. And it's a series that explore themes that can be sometimes a little bit overlooked, even as maybe an anime or like a mainstream format. So if you look at the characters. So here we go. Just to play around that idea just for a quick minute. So you have Jinx on one side, you have V, so those two are sisters, and you have Kathleen. And I believe truly those are the three main protagonists, the three main characters. Ultimately, I believe V is the protagonist of Arcane, although maybe Jinx is. It's on. We don't really know until the final act is resolved. But I believe Jinx is representing the rebellious spirits, the character that stepped into the dark side, the sense of self-worth that completely disappeared, and this sense that she can't be loved by others because she is not capable of loving herself or maybe forgiving herself for the mistakes she did in the past. Okay, so she took this kind of more radical approach to life and her choices and her decision upon, others. V is the mediator, and she's the one who will have to moderate and forgive Jinx and forgive herself for the mistake she made. If Vi can forgive herself for what she's done, then Jinx can learn from her and do the same. If she doesn't, then all is lost, basically, both for her and for Jinx. On the other side, we have Caitlyn. And Caitlyn is a very interesting character here because she represents the what is righteous on a kind of almost legal enforced matter. She is the representative of the law. She is representative of police force, or like an alternative sense of police force. And she is the one that kind of draw the line between what is right and what is wrong. If Caitlyn doesn't learn the gray in between and doesn't understand that people can do the right thing for the wrong reasons or do the wrong things for the right reasons, then she will also be somewhat radicalized into her sense of righteousness. So those three are working with their duality, but they need to find a sense of in-between and forgiveness and self-love, almost a sense of personal, a sense of identity that is more complex than what basic storytelling would tell us. So those characters are still a little bit, at this point, a little bit binary in terms of right and wrong, but V is the one that oscillates a little bit more in terms of duality and internal conflict, whilst Jinx and Kathleen have more kind of a sense of, they have a greater sense of determination and sense of entrenched vision of the world. V is trying to mitigate and to reconcile more than anything else. And I think that's why she is the protagonist, because her work and her action will influence the reactions and the world of those other characters. Hopefully for the best. We'll see what happens. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about season 2. Both for the storyline and the artistry. I'm a big fan of it, and I saw the first one probably 3 times. Yeah, that really great stuff. And it's like they said in that Netflix blog, although it's the end of Arcane, it's not the end of the narrative exploration of that world. So it's very likely we will have spin-offs and offshoots from that story in different forms, maybe standalone animation films like they did for The Witcher. Maybe one day we'll have a live action film of a League of Legends or, League of Legends. Yeah, we'll see. But for Arcane, that will be the last bit. So kudos as well to the artists and obviously the animators, the concept designers, everybody that has been involved so far into the project. It's absolutely sublime. For the voice acting as well, Jinx, Ella Prunell, which we recently saw in Fallout, has done such an amazing job with that. And we have Ellie Stanfield with dubbing Vi. Excellent work as well. It is really spotless as an execution. It's brilliant. So here they're talking a bit about the Riot game, you know, and the origin of League of Legends, etc. So you can have a look. It's obviously not the same, you know. It's a game is a game, a film is a film, an anime is an anime. Those are different forms and ways to tell a story and to engage an audience. Sorry, but it's definitely a beautiful complement to the world. And when we talk about aspiration and being evocative, this series is doing an amazing job. So we have a short definition of the characters and the beautiful poster here. Date of release November 2024, so a few months to go, but it's yeah, we're getting there. Here we go. So that was for Arcane. Are you excited about Arcane Season 2? Let me know. Yeah, drop me a comment if it's the case. What are you hoping to see in that final installment? What do you hope to... What do you hope the hand will be? Are they going to look for each other? That's the poster as well. I mean, it's an interesting poster, isn't it? It's almost like Jinx is protecting, securing, comforting V or Vi, who feels quite traumatized here. Ooh, that is interesting. That's something you will expect to be the polar opposite. So maybe the younger sister has to look after the older one. There we go. So I think that's it for me today. I think we've covered everything on the lists. Here we go. So what did you enjoy best today? What are you excited about? Are you excited about Harry Potter Quidditch Champions? Are you excited about Assassin's Creed Mirage on iPad and iPhone? Are you excited about Fable? Are you looking forward to what has we? Oh yeah, the Redkit of Witcher. Are you going to try to put your hands on it and try to figure out how they created that masterpiece? Are you excited about Arcane Season 2? Let me know. I mean, that was a great week. I really enjoyed looking into that, and those are the highlights of what I saw online, and yeah, what really caught my attention and my interest and my curiosity. So I hope you felt the same. And if you have any suggestion for future stream, let me know. Please do drop me a message if there's something I'm missing as well, or something that I missed as part of tonight's stream. Let me know as well, and I will put all the links into the description so you can have the time to review all this at your leisure and your time. So like I said at the opening, this long form stream will be segmented into shorter segments, so you can access maybe the part that interests you the most easily. And yeah, I will do one of those every week moving forward. So I look forward to catching up with you next week and to bring you some more goodies and to have a nice little chat like today with you online here on YouTube and on Twitch. And until then, I wish you all happy gaming, to enjoy the end of your Sunday, and to have a great week. See you soon. Bye-bye.